The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily represent those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting group. Access Fort Wayne is a department of the Allen County Public Library. If you or anyone you know might be interested in making a television show, please call 260-421-1250.
Hi, welcome to the Kachmann Mind, Body, Spirit Show. I have a guest today. The Grunch showed up. He just jumped on my table, smiled at me, but didn't say a word. Maybe he'll speak up or just get roller skates on. Maybe he'll start dancing after a while. It's all in the holiday spirit. Today's show, I think you'll find very interesting. It's called Good Energy, and it was written by a lady doctor and a fella that I don't know I still don't know if that's her brother. I don't think it's her husband. I think he's younger. But I tell you, it's an excellent book. It's like almost I read the whole thing, almost a reincarnated Rhodey. My God, how could that possibly happen? But I encourage you to go to the library or go to Amazon Books, and they usually have used copies. I bought one, it was $15 or something, but you get a used copy for $3 or $4. I've learned that about Amazon, is that they sell brand new copies, but they also sell used copies, and when you get them, they look just like like a new one. So, because I would like you to have this in your home. This is a fantastic book. I see on the cover, I'm going to read some of this to you. Mark Hyman, is very famous, and he's quoted on the cover, a tour de force. It's absolutely true. You follow what's in this book. It's what I teach, but it's nice to have it confirmed. She was a surgeon too, not a neurosurgeon like me, but I think I had a neck surgeon, and she's met a lot of people, got a lot of experience. And after she quit, she followed her passion. That's just what I did. Now my stuff here from the library, fortunately, goes to YouTube and goes across the world. That's her passion too. So let me read to you in a little bit beginning. And she's saying, good energy. You want good energy in your cells. The surprising connection between metabolism and limitless health. No disease. This is what I'm talking about. Let's just read a little bit about what they say, the inside of the cover. What if depression, anxiety, infertility, insomnia, heart disease, erectile dysfunction, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, cancer, and many other health conditions that torture and shorten our lives actually have the same root cause? That's what I've been saying, prevention. And it's really what we're eating, how much we're exercising, and avoiding type 2 diabetes. And we live to be 100, maybe 120. I've said that, you've heard it in my programs, but she's saying that. Our ability to prevent and reverse these conditions and feel incredible today is under our control. I've been saying this too. And simpler than we think. It's not difficult. You can get rid of diabetes 2 to 4 weeks. I know the science. Watch my other YouTube shows so you can see it. And the key is our metabolic function. That's what I've been saying. What we're eating, what we're not eating, how much exercise we're doing, whether we're singing, laughing, and getting rid of stress, like I played pickleball today, and that's a stress reliever and a good exercise. And at age 88, I'm still getting better. Would you believe it? There's nobody playing at the age that's older than me, but I play better than a lot of them. I'm going to get better yet. I'm getting better yet. As Dr. Casey Means, that's the doctor, explains in his groundbreaking book, nearly every health problem we face can be explained by how well the cells, trillions in our body, create and use energy. Oh, that's why we want good energy. To live free from frustrating symptoms of life-threatening disease, and we need our cells to optimally power so that they can create good energy, the essential fuel that impacts every aspect of our physical, mental well-being. Do you see what I point? Exactly what I've been saying on my previous shows, and I want you to do it because I want you to feel good. Have a smile on your face, feel great every day, and live to be 100, or maybe 120 like my plans are. So let's get on the road. You're battling minor signals of bad energy inside your body. It's often a warning sign that more life-threatening illness is coming along. Yes. So let me put this book. Remember, I encourage you to get a copy, or just go to the library. They'll get it for you for free. Or buy a used copy for $3 or $4, or spend maybe $15 and use this book to teach the rest of your family and your friends. So let me put it up here so that you can see it a little better. Good energy. And while you're at it, say hello to my Grinch, or maybe dance with him a little bit. He's a dancer. If I hit a button, he'll be dancing. He might fall off the table, though. So listen, I do that. So let's kind of get on the road. So bad energy is the root cause of disease. You want your cells to be full of energy and energetic. So most chronic symptoms of affliction have a root cause to them, and we're going to attack it today. It's a malfunction of our metabolic system. Metabolic dysfunction is a key cause of your cellular dysfunction. Usually chronic symptoms cause fatigue. I already read the diseases to diabetes, erectile dysfunction, cancer, strokes, dementia, all can be avoided. Or if you're on the path, a significant number can be reversed. Yes, what wonderful news. So, for example, type 2 diabetes, you hear this a lot, but that is the root cause of about 50 to 100 different illnesses. You don't get diabetes, you don't get the illnesses. And I will show you how to avoid it or reverse it quickly. So there are 6 stages of diabetes, according to Mark Hyman, who's very famous. You can reach him online. He's written many books. Number 1 is spiking levels of insulin 30 minutes, 1 or 2 hours after you've eaten a bunch of sugar. They check your blood, and your insulin is elevated. Your blood sugar may still be normal, but you're on the path to getting diabetes. So the blood sugar may be normal. I encourage everyone to get a serum insulin. Like I met with somebody the other day. We were having a conference, and she looked perfectly normal. I weigh 135 pounds. She weighs 137. But her sister has diabetes, and I suggested to her that she get a serum insulin because that's elevated 10 to 15 years before the blood sugar ever goes up. We should be checking all our children, even at age 3 or 4, with serum insulins. And that way we could correct what they're eating, and it's a lot easier to lose a pound or two instead of 100 or 200 pounds. So elevated fasting insulin and a normal blood sugar while fasting or after glucose tolerance test, you can have an insulin tolerance test. And if your blood sugar is over 90, you need to start worrying. Another one is the waist circumference, to measure your waist at the umbilical level. So subcutaneous fat under the skin, if you can pinch it with your fingers, usually is not dangerous. If you just feel it a little bit, generally it's not dangerous. But the fat that is inside your belly, the one that's inside the organs or around the organs, that's called visceral fat. And that is concerning because it can affect and cause disease. So a visceral fat is like a blanket. You see at top of the liver, the intestines and spleen. It's dangerous fat, and you can demonstrate it if you feel the need to it with certain types of MRI scans. You can see the fat, and you can start becoming concerned. Then we have ectopic fat that's inside the cells of organs, the liver, the heart, the muscles. That's extremely dangerous because it blocks the insulin receptors, and you see increased disease, and some can even lead to death. So visceral fat around the organs or in the cells, is a lot more dangerous and is associated with insulin resistance and metabolic abnormalities. So visceral fat acts as a hormone secreting organ pro-inflammatory chemicals. They drive insulin resistance and decrease insulin signaling, and you're more likely to become sick, get all of a disease. So the waist circumference is a useful indicator of visceral fat, okay? But if you just look at somebody and they're overweight, they look overweight, it's not a guarantee that they have metabolic disease, yes. Even thin people, 30% of the thin people, like the lady I was sitting with, they need their blood tested. It's just looking at them, it's not the total answer. So fat has estrogen in it, and people who are overweight are more likely, for example, to get cancer, especially breast cancer. So it's important to pay attention to it. Visceral fat, imaging studies, DEXA scans are specific for this type of fat. So the waist circumference it is a good start, but we can do other things. Another good test, if you're going to get your blood tested, they don't always have this on your, say, Medicare exam. Ask your doctor, whoever's doing the testing, make sure it's on there. It's a triglyceride HDL ratio, okay? It correlates well with insulin resistance, and if that can be the most specifically good test to estimate if it's abnormal. It correlated a great deal with heart disease. Dr. Kachmann says that triglyceride HDL ratio is just as important as the insulin response test, and is the best predictor of chances of heart disease. And so it increases the chance of correct diagnosis almost 1,000%. So get that test. Get a serum insulin and the HDL, triglyceride HDL ratio. Dr. Robert Lustig, very famous, he's written many famous books and you know about him, he agrees. It's a very good biomarker of vascular disease. It's the best surrogate marker for also metabolic syndrome, where you've abnormalities in enzymes, where your waist circumference and enzymes of your liver, all these make the metabolic syndrome. In children, the triglyceride HDL ratio is a good predictor of diabetes, disease, obesity, illness, and they can be abnormal at a very young age. So again, we can have waist circumference in these tests that I mentioned to you. And triglyceride HDL ratio, sadly, is not a metric, and the routine testing we do to people. And so included in your annual test, and we should at least once a year get tests. Fortunately, for most of us, part of our Medicare exam, the annual exam, it's free. I'm 88, so I had it done the other day, and my HbA1c, which indicates the chances of diabetes, was 5.4, so I'm not diabetic. I didn't think so because I've always had that test to be very normal, and I have no symptoms. I'm 88, I have no disease, no symptoms, and take no medication, and play pickleball 4 days a week. Am I bragging? No, one person is really in a statistic, but if I'm going to teach it, I should at least be a participant, okay? So what are abnormal and normal tests for serum insulins? And actually, it should be less than 1. Yeah, mine was 0.6, I think. And but check it out. I recommend that at least be 1. And if it's greater than 3, it's predictive of insulin resistance, and the odds of disease go up. So let's talk a little bit more about other tests. You get 6 future tests, which I hope they will include in annual examination in the future, but you could add them, and you can actually do it cheaply by going to a place in town. I'm sure there are other places called Any Lab. It's on DuPont in Fort Wayne. They're across the country. And they charge a great deal less if your insurance, for some reason, won't cover it. So another good one is a HOMA-IR, HOMA-IR. That's a combination of a fasting insulin and a blood sugar, and it's very predictive of the possibility of heart disease, heart attack, and I think this would be a very good test to get HOMA-IR. And in this book here, it explains the test real well, why you should get it, what the good numbers are and the bad numbers are, and it explains the science of it. That's the reason I want you to have this book. I'm the beginning of your knowledge. I'd like you to get more knowledge by maybe reading this book. If your fasting insulin is elevated, your cells are under siege. Yes, Remember what I said, fasting insulin can be up 10, 15 years before the sugar ever goes up. Oh, I'm not diabetic. Well, what's your serum insulin? Oh, I never had the test. I don't know if you're diabetic or not, okay? And when they discovered the science, it was when they autopsied the Vietnamese, Korean, and American soldiers during the wars. They found the Americans, although of normal weight, had tremendous advanced vascular disease, and the Koreans and the Vietnamese, it was normal. Yes, this is what I'm saying. You can have an elevated serum insulin, normal blood sugar, and already have disease in your body. I'm telling this to you. Get the test done. Increased fasting insulin causes inflammation and is blocking neurotransmission of insulin signals, and the brain is more likely to have the Alzheimer's disease, which is largely a metabolic disease. People think it's a genetic disease. No, the type 2 diabetics are the most likely people to have a severe memory loss and, quote, Alzheimer's disease. Yes, get these tests done. I want to know your home IR, so your blood sugar, as I said, is not elevated till 10 to 15 years after the insulin level has been elevated, and a lot of people may even have a heart attack before the blood sugar is up, because insulin punches holes in the blood vessels and is the beginning of atherosclerosis and disease. So to have comorbidities or diseases before your sugar is ever elevated is common. 50% of the people have heart attacks, grab their chest, and die. That happened to a friend of mine, 15 years younger than me, and he was playing tennis like I'm a tennis addict, and now I'm a pickleball addict. And he was playing somebody else and grabbed his chest and died while playing tennis. And his wife was a nutritionist, except nutritionists years back were instructed by people as to what a good diet is, and it was wrong. It was wrong. And I'm not sure that they're teaching the right thing now, because industry has been bribed. Government officials have been bribed, and they're teaching the wrong thing. Why do you think we see so many sick people in our community? Remember I said all the diabetics are not overweight, but we see a tremendous amount of overweight people around us. I went to a music function the other day where 80% of the people were seriously overweight. They didn't all have diabetes, but when you saw the ones I was looking at, they've got it. Remember, there's some thin people who have diabetes too. Get the serum insulin test. That we don't do this regularly to everyone is a serious matter. They have not made that standard because I think people are getting bribed because they make money off the sick people. I have an understanding. And so a good fasting insulin should be at least under 25, although optimal 2 to 5. And if it's around 10, it's concerning, and if it's around 15, it's significant. And your home IR, be sure to get it. So another test is a CRP, C-reactive protein, and when you have inflammation, this goes up. So HSCRP is the name of the test, a protein made by the liver, and a rise in the blood often is seen in patients with inflammation in their body, and that's metabolic dysfunction, okay? And the average is around 1 to 3. If you're more than 3, odds are something bad is going on in your body. Here's another test we can order, uric acid. Uric acid is metabolized a product of fructose and purine-rich foods, which include animal protein, especially red meat, seafood, organs, and especially alcohol and beer. And incidentally, if you're drinking beer or soda pop, beer gets metabolized first. The liver metabolizes it first. And we can overwhelm the body too quickly, like a chug of soda laden with high fructose and corn syrup, and uric acid level goes up quickly, creating problems in your body. And uric acid generates oxidative stress, which disturbs mitochondria, which are the energy manufacturers inside every cell of your body are these tiny things. Can be 100 or a few thousand, depending what that cell does, and it affects the energy of the body, and it can increase or decrease your cellular energy. As fat rises, especially in the liver, it interferes with function of the cells in the liver, and your insulin resistance goes up. Uric acid causes increased inflammation by releasing inflammatory chemicals, cytokines, which increase your blood pressure by inactivating nitric acid. Nitric acid dilates your vessels. So as the vessels constrict, your blood pressure goes up. Okay, so when uric acid levels increase, also some crystals form in your joints, leading to gout. And gout causes tremendous pain. The cells cause these crystalline deposits, and you can see the swelling in your joints, especially your knees and hips, but occasionally it's even in a finger. And also 71% chance if you have gout, you also are diabetic. I know of people who have this. And people can have increased depression, and many have a lack of sleep. So uric acid levels, very important to know what they are. Let's talk about, let me have a little bit of water because my voice is getting a little rough, you know. Let's talk about liver enzymes. And because the liver is really, besides your heart, maybe one of the most important organ in your body, and you want to keep it healthy. So when you do blood tests, we test for AST, aspirate transaminase, ALT, alanine transaminase. If you want to know if you have fat in your liver, which is not good, ALT is a good test. And then there's GGT. These are the 3 tests: AST, ALT, GGT. GGT is gamma glutamate transferase is the name of it. Life insurance companies who want to sell you life insurance and trying to figure out what to charge you, they like to be able to estimate how long you're going to live. You know what they get? A GGT test. That is the most predictive test about how long you're going to live. Yeah. So the AST, ALT are proteins made in the liver, enter the circulation when the liver cells die or are damaged. So if you have a damaged liver, these tests go up. So when you have insulin resistance, you have dysfunctional liver cells, fatty liver. there's fat in the liver. Remember, a DEXA scan will show the amount of fat that around your viscera in your liver. And if you're not doing well, not a bad test to get. So increased AST and ALT, increased fatty liver, and that you had the beginning of metabolic disease. Many times these enzymes are elevated a long time before you have elevated blood sugar or evidence of the disease. So the GGT, which I told you about, is a protein brought is found throughout the liver and also throughout the body, but more of it in the liver. And it's a very good indicator of whether you have chronic disease, how long you're going to live. So it's a key antioxidant, and it neutralizes free radicals. So the level of it is important. If you have a lot of free radicals in your body, your GGT may be elevated. And so increased GGT is associated with type 2 diabetes, with cerebrovascular disease, cancer, liver disease, and death. That's why those insurance companies are ordering that test on you before they know how to price the insurance they want to sell you. So the liver actually is the master regulator of the balance of the blood sugar. Yeah. The liver makes the hormones, makes the chemicals that indicate whether things are good or bad, whether there's fat in the liver. And so the liver also stores some sugar as glycogen, not that much, but sort of if you're running out of sugar playing a sports event, for example, it can quickly release glycogen. You've got about 100 milligrams of it to provide energy. And your muscles make it too. They store about 400 milligrams. You may be of good weight, 135 for me. I would say probably pretty good weight, no disease. Do I have fat in my body? Yes, I do. We store quite a bit of fat above, deep in the musculature that, and actually if a person were to stop eating, I could probably stop eating for a couple of weeks and live off of that fat. Yes. Someone weighing 1,000 pounds could almost live a year living off their fat because what can happen is if your blood sugar goes down, your insulin level goes down, your fat cells are put up, they go to the liver and they're converted to ketones, high energy small molecules like sugar, except bigger than sugar, and you can live off of that. Isn't that interesting? A lot of people don't know that. Incidentally, cholesterol is good for you. They will let almost everybody I know is taking a statin drug to potentially reduce your cholesterol. You need your cholesterol. Cholesterol is on the membrane of every cell in your body. 80% is made in your body. You only consume 20% of it. So these statin drugs has been a big scam. You don't believe it? The Cholesterol Myth is the book you could read. The Toxic Effect of Statins by Evans, a book this thick. Don't read the whole book, just read the summary, and you will see that statin drugs cause diabetes, cause obesity, cause renal disease. This has been a scam promoted across the world. These companies have made $5 billion and made people sick, and they're making money off the sick people. Yes, this is a true story. I've got 5 or 6 books at home that the Cholesterol Myth, the Toxic Effect of Statins, many other ones. Astronauts who went into space and and lost all their memory because they had been on a statin drug. That's a Dr. Graveline, and he wrote a book about it. So I know that I have the correct information. So when the liver is overburdened and damaged, it will store fat or become fibrous and stop functioning. And instantly enough, the pancreas, which makes the insulin which we so badly need, sends its hormone straight from the pancreas through the portal vein to the liver. That's the first organ it affects. So we want a pristine, we want a perfect liver. We want those liver tests to be normal. And what are the normal ranges? ALT, 7 to 55, AST, 8 to 48, GGT, 8 to 61. And remember I said GGT, the life insurance companies are running this before they will sell you insurance. What about total cholesterol? Remember what I said, you need cholesterol. So to take statin drugs to lower your cholesterol, you may die from it. You may develop disease from it. Read those books. And Robert Lustig, who was an endocrinologist from University of California, San Francisco, now is retired from that, but you can watch his YouTube shows. And to paraphrase a quote from his book he wrote a book called Metabolical, also a great book to read. You could probably, again, buy it used on Amazon for very few, and it's a real eye-puller, very scientific. Certainly any medical provider should read it. I don't care if you're a nurse or who you are, but to read it as a layman, I think, would be great value. So what he says, when you get a total cholesterol result, throw it in the garbage. Cholesterol is good for you. You need it. It means nothing, he states. You need to know the kind of cholesterol. We have LDL-C, which is a cholesterol C and has a checkered history, but LDL-A correlates with heart disease. You know, LDL-C correlates with heart disease. You need to know what type of cholesterol that you have. And the triglyceride risk factor is around 1.8 if the triglycerides are elevated. The LDL-C is very high, only means anything if it's over 200 milligrams per deciliter. It has to be extremely high. Otherwise, it's not a risk factor. And LDL-C, as I mentioned, if it's less, you like to aim for less than 70. So we have different types of LDL. You've got ones that's very light and fluffy, and it floats through the vascular system. Has no effect on you. But when you have the very small ones, the very small one, it can go through the intima, the inner layer of the blood vessels, and cause the beginning of disease. And so I hope you get some of these tests done. And as I said, it is very well described in this Good Energy book. It describes those things in detail. And one thing we can do too, if we're concerned, or maybe already have evidence of diabetes, or we want to know what our blood sugars are when we're doing things. So it's to have some continuous glucose monitoring. And because I'm teaching, I have no problem, but I have a smart watch, and you wonder, are they accurate or what? The one I have called a smart watch, $66, and I can hit this right here. It tells me the time, the blood pressure, and the blood sugar. Let me hit the blood sugar thing here, and I notice, I don't have, it'll tell me in a minute what it is, but it is slightly elevated. And why do you think that would be? Because I ate recently? No, stress. Stress causes, yeah. And look at this, would you believe it? A guy weighs 135 pounds who does not have diabetes, any of this illness, my blood sugar, 140. That's stress, because, you know, to be on do a TV show changes your thought process, and so stress can raise blood sugar. So this is very accurate. I notice in the morning when I get up, it's around 87 or not, or so, yeah, because I've been sleeping, I haven't eaten any food. So, but another way, if you are diabetic, I would get, I think, the Lifestyle Libre, Lifestyle Libre, but they cost a little bit of money. But they are connected. They are connected to your phone, and it stores the information, and you can show it to your doctor, or you can look at it yourself, or show it to your loved one, and it keeps track. It shows you a graph. So if you have diabetes, I would strongly suggest that you get one of these patches they have to put on there, but they cost some money. And but this watch is not as accurate, maybe, but it appears to be. I'm using it, and other type of monitors which cost less, but it'd be a good idea that you would have some idea what your blood sugars are. You can much more likely, and also especially if you're on medication and you're starting to follow a good way of eating, that the blood sugars may drop too low, and you might not be able to. Too low a blood sugar can be life-threatening. The ones that rather raise up usually is not life-threatening, but it's important to know it. So continuous glucose monitor is a biosensor. Smart watches, I mentioned already, and also it makes you accountable. You ate something, the type of food you're eating has different effects on different people. Yeah, you can use your smartwatch an hour later after you ate, and see if your sugar, what your sugar level is, or 2 hours later when it should be normal, what it should be. So I think if you're at all concerned of having diabetes, on the path to diabetes, or your serum insulin is elevated, find out what a specific food does. There is a Dr. David Unwin, U-N-W-I-N, David Unwin. He's from England, really ahead of his time. He's got a graphic where you can take and shows you how many teaspoonfuls of sugar the food you're eating equals. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and very accurate, and you can get it for free. So Dr. David Unwin, U-N-W-I-N, and he also has a lot of YouTube shows. I think it'd be a very good idea to look at some of those shows to gather more information. I want you to have more information than me. And these smart watches and these glucose monitors, tell you about glucose variability. It reduces your cravings and anxiety when you're concerned. It teaches you your reaction teaches you use strategies to stabilize the blood sugar, trains your body, and and it will induce behavioral change, because you'll see how each food, how you react. We all react differently. If you eat something, I eat something, we measure our blood sugar, it's not going to be the same for both of us, okay? And but a glucose monitor can tell you what your morning glucose is. What, like I said, you see mine is around 86, 87. I haven't been stressed, I haven't been eating. If it was 300, you say, something's wrong, Rudy. So it has value. And it also shows you the impact of stress, which I already showed to you. Impact of exercise and of sleep. And as you're getting better, your diabetes going away, for example, you're losing weight, it can show you progress, put positive thoughts in your body. And in this book, it also tells you what you should aim for, and I just review those very quickly here a little bit. I mean, your triglycerides should be less than 80, HDL, which is different in men and women a little bit, 50 to 90, fasting blood sugar, 70 to 85, and so your CRP less 0.3, hemoglobin A1C less than 5.4. But those ranges are described in great detail that you can take your time and read those over. And your uric acid should be less than 5, for example. So food is a structure, so you got to take this seriously. Dieting will affect the type of food you're eating, will affect your cell membranes, and see whether you have good or bad energy. And so eating is a process of matching cellular needs with oral inputs. You're eating the wrong diet, and you may be sick. So so we want to do mindful eating. We want to think about what we're putting in and to look at it and to get some idea of what good food, what are high sugar foods. For example, not everybody knows, oh, I'm eating nothing but good food, when in reality you may be consuming a lot of sugary foods. And to have a smartwatch to tell you whether you're right or wrong isn't a bad idea. What is the ideal way of eating? Ideal way really is to eat about 50, 60% good fats. Good fats are omega-3 fats. They are fats that are good for you. We have to eat some omega-6 fats. They're called essential fats. So about 50, 70% good fats, yes. 20% protein. You say, oh, I'm going to follow a high-protein diet. If your body regulates the protein in your body, and if you're eating above a certain amount of protein, that body converts it to sugar. Yes. So when people are getting bigger and bigger, and because they're eating a 100% protein diet, the body regulates that. Above a certain level, it turns to sugar, and you're bulking up. You're diabetic now. Yes. A lot of people don't realize that. So what are bad energy foods? Refined added sugar, okay. Refined industrial seeds and oils, okay. Refined grains, where they've taken off the covering and you're eating the endosperm, the inside of the grain, and that's processed food. And if you eat a lot of that, that's the reason people are so unhealthy around here, because the industry has captured us. They've bribed, and as a matter of fact, our government supports the price of corn, and they support the price of foods that make us sick. Yes, our government does that because industry then hands money back to the congressman, and this is going on today. All our hospitals here want to treat your disease. There's no one of them that's spending time on how to get rid of your diabetes. Some are very efficiently run, well run, and I went and spoke to their diabetic doctors, their obesity doctors. They stare at you when I try them to start teaching the people there that are in the hospital with the diseases how to eat healthy. Doesn't interest them. Yes, I even found I play pickleball with a kid that works in intensive care where they do heart surgery. He found 90% of the people in there were on statin drugs. Mm-hmm. Statins cause the disease they were operating them for. Yes. Gather information. Be open-minded. Read the book, Evidence, Toxic Effect of Statins. Yes. And you can online, Dr. David Unwin will speak about that too. So, but how can you change things? Don't eat naked carbohydrates, okay? You're sitting down for dinner, for example. A lot of people sit down, the first thing that they drink is some alcohol. Well, right there, it's rapidly absorbed and changes your metabolic system very quickly. So preload when you sit down with low glycogen foods. No alcohols. Eat a salad. So when you go to dinner, people start with a drink usually, but it'd be good if they would eat a salad that has some protein in it, some added chicken or turkey or whatever. It will decrease your appetite. Yes, proteins decrease our appetite. But don't start with chips or bread. Bread or sugar, people don't realize it. Almost all bread is sugar. A lot of bread has been dyed to look differently, to make you think it's healthy. It's black or brown bread, it's very healthy. And if you read the labels, they'll use a different name for sugar. There are about 50 different names for sugar. Yes. So you could, oh, the bread's fine. No, the breads are not fine. Another way to get rid of diabetes quickly or to eat healthily is to eat 2 meals a day. Like I do, I eat 16-8, not because of any disease or anything, but if you go back in history thousands of years ago, people didn't eat 3 times a day. There was no food available throughout the day, okay? And I don't eat breakfast. I go play pickleball. I feel great. The steroids secreted from playing pickleball makes me feel even better. I don't even feel like eating lunch. But I do try to eat lunch of healthy food. Guacamole, that's full of omega-3 fats, good fats. I have 2 eggs, that's good protein. There's some cholesterol in the yolk, and that's absolutely great. We need some. 20% of the cholesterol in our body is what we eat, and then my other meal is in the evening, 5, 6, 7. I can eat almost anything I want to and still weigh 135 pounds the next day. That's true. That's a true story. And a good way to reduce appetite too at the beginning is to eat some nuts, an egg, vegetables, and to eat 2 meals a day also induces in your body something called autophagia. Autophagia. It's where your cells that have been damaged or used up can be recycled, rebuilt into to be useful in the body, or you'll be urinating or it out. So autophagia, and then eat the meal around noon or so, extremely quick way to get diabetes. You'll be rid of it 2 or 3 weeks. It's true. It's not some big process. So avoid liquid sugar, drinking pop, and things which a lot of people do more so than ever. They even provide some of this in the school system. Incidentally, when I look at the menu, what they're feeding our kids for breakfast and lunch, 90% will be sugar addicts. Our government is doing that. I want to talk to the head of the school system, give me no appointment. That's true. That's true. So you got to watch what your kids are consuming. Some kids have to consume that because they can't afford, that's the only meal they would get. They need to organize and do that because there are certain racial groups, ethnic groups, where almost all are diabetic. They're eating the food that's provided by our government. Is that racial, ethnic? Have a look at it. Get your blood test out, especially on your children. So, and as I mentioned on page on page 157, I'd like to read to you a couple of things. That's the reason I think you should have this book, because in food we want to get the nutrients, the vitamins, and the minerals that are important to us. Vitamin D is one thing, and it tells you there the sources: magnesium, selenium, as magnesium found in nuts, and the sun, incidentally makes a difference because energy comes from the sun, but we can get too much energy or not enough energy from the sun. Zinc you can get from oysters, vitamins B, 5, 6, 7, 9, 12, pork, beef, chicken. This is all very nicely listed here, and manganese, nuts. So it's very important to have this at home. Vitamin C from fruits, for example, but eat the fruit. Don't drink the juice. I was sitting at a restaurant yesterday, and I saw an unhealthy-looking person putting down 3 glasses of juice. Juice is sugar, but if they eat the fruit with the fiber, it's very healthy. And and then it lists on page 161 the best antioxidant sources: almonds, apples, artichokes, asparagus. It gives you a complete long list, and to know it in detail. Good omega-3 fats. Remember, they are the essential fats, but they are the good fats. We need some of the omega-6, the bad fats too. It's a ratio, and omega-3 fatty acids tell the cell you are safe. Okay, and the best way to get omega-3 in your meals is to eat the following. Listen, this: chia seeds, basil seeds, flax seeds, walnuts, hemp seeds, sardines, mackerel, herring, salmon, trout, oysters. Okay, and you would like to listen to this. And fiber, which is can be the dense part of the food, tells the microbiome. Your microbiome is you have in your gut living bacteria. Bacteria have their own metabolic system. There's trillions of them in one. There's good ones, there's bad ones. And what you feed them determines what's in your, the health of your gut. Yeah. They also secrete hormones, serotonin, dopamine, that affect your brain. Your brain speaks to your gut, and your gut speaks to your brain. They are connected. You want to feel good? Then eat the right food, okay? So I encourage you again, let's summarize this a little bit. This book was sent to me from heaven. This must be a duplicate of me, because I'm thinking the same way. But I noticed Mark Hyman, he said it's a tour de force. This would be an excellent book for you to have in your library. Buy it new, buy it used, get it in the library for free, follow it, the science, and here's exactly what I teach, and that is Dr. Casey means that she stopped, when she started finishing her surgical career, she had seen all these patients all these years, and she switched to forming. Casey Means is the co-founder of Levels, a health technology company with a mission of reversing the world's metabolic health crisis. That's exactly what I want, exactly what I'm doing. God, I pray that someday I meet this wonderful doctor. And but follow me on YouTube. I have 1,000 TV shows for you to give you information. This is just the beginning of knowledge. I want you to get more knowledge. I want you to read this book. I want you to watch my YouTube shows, especially you can't sleep. Dr. Unwin from England, the most famous health doctor in the world, I believe. Look at his YouTube shows. And again, thank you for listening. See you next time. And Grinch is still smiling, so he must have hopefully enjoyed the show. I have 4 or 5 different Grinches at home. It will cause you to laugh. This guy, incidentally, can roller skate, but I will not make him do it on this table because he'll fall on the ground. I love you. I do this because I care about you. We have to thank the library system for providing this opportunity. In 1 or 2 days, this will be on YouTube, yes. And I thank our camera people here for doing that for me. I play pickleball with them too. Thank you. I love you. Namaste.